slowly dying. This is a result of the pollution that has come into play from many nations around the world. In terms of people not living lifestyles that are eco-friendly, in terms of contributing to the pollution and to the death of Earth. In this debate, ladies and gentlemen, we don't want this to happen anymore on the new planet, assuming that there is one, right? Because we want to sustain the nature and the eco-friendly, the environment of the new planet, because pollution is seen as an irreversible damage, and we don't want the same thing to happen like it did on Earth. In my speech, I'm going to talk to you about two arguments. Firstly, how this policy will help maintain the sustainability of the new planet, and number two, how we are rewarding those who have made an effort to solve the environmental decline of planet Earth. But before we get into that, our model, right? What we're trying to propose here. Firstly, we need to have a standard of environmental friendliness in terms of how do we measure this, right? This should be based on the average of each individual of each particular nation, right? What does this mean? This means that just because your nation has a bigger population doesn't mean it's the biggest contributor to pollution, right? As we can see in the United States, despite it being a large country, it's only a 5% of population of the entire world, but it's one of the largest contributors of pollution in terms of 30% in Germany, right? Because of this, we don't want this to happen again, right? What does this imply, right? Now, like for example, in terms of how in the new planet, right? In terms of how, if the size of the land outnumber the population of that nation to begin with, we're going to have relaxed immigration laws in order to have a more balanced distribution of population to begin with, and we believe that this is important in maintaining the sustainability of the thing in the long run, right? But I get my argument. Firstly, how are we rewarding those who have made an effort to solve the environmental disaster, right? Look, these countries or these people, these nations who are more environmentally friendly, they have sustained policies that are more environmentally friendly to begin with, right? So we're rewarding them despite the failures of Earth, right? Because now we're entrusting them to take up the new planet, to start fresh, to maintaining, and then because now they are at the forefront of maintaining Earth eco-friendly environment, friendly environment, right? Because what has happened, right? By the time these nations are environmentally friendly nations have still this eco-friendly policies, right? It's a little too late, because now they have started too late. But now that these people are given the power to implement these policies, they can now start afresh in securing a better future for this new planet development, right? But on the other hand, we also don't want to reward those who have helped contribute to the downfall of Earth, in the sense that these countries or these nations with the highest number of people who are contributing to the pollution, they will just further make the environment detrimental to our health, ladies and gentlemen, and we don't want a repeat of Earth in the long run. We get it. Okay, why?
That some countries who are environmentally friendly now get away with it, even though historically they were one of the biggest polluters in the world.
No, ladies and gentlemen, we only care about those who have instilled these policies to sustain an environmentally friendly new planet, ladies and gentlemen. Because of this, we don't care about the respective laws that these people have implemented, but what they're doing now to slow down the detrimental effects that pollution has on Earth, right? Now, my second argument regarding how this will help maintain sustainability of the new planet, right? Now that we're giving more land resources to these eco-friendly nations, right? This means that are more likely to be more environmentally responsible, right? Because of this, they pollute less because they are more aware of the hazards that come into play through pollution, right? So lifestyles that these people play have less negative consequences to the environment, right? And as a result of this, now this will force change in people who are not environmentally friendly ones, but in order to sustain this, they have to change their negative lifestyles into one that is more eco-friendly, right? So we're instilling positive individual behavioral change, ladies and gentlemen, unlike that, right? Furthermore, now these countries now will push for policies that are green, right? They have more resources that can allow them to dictate international policies that are more green and eco-friendly, right? Furthermore, when they control these resources, they have more leverage than the others who have polluted in the past, right? What does this mean, right? Now, this implies, this is especially important because nations who are not environmentally friendly exhaust resources in their own land to begin with, right? When they garner enough wealth, they now exploit other countries, ladies and gentlemen, because they exploit their resources of these poorer countries who are more eco-friendly, right? These nations are now more dependent for resources from environmentally friendly nations for those same resources as they were dependent on. But now they have exhausted them, and as such, they have to resort to other nations, which is unfair. Furthermore, because they have to depend on these other nations, they are now less likely to ignore the political demands, right? As in the status quo, we can see that despite being environmentally friendly, these countries are often not as powerful, and their political demands are not often heard and are easy to be ignored, right? And this is especially dangerous, right? Because now we're giving them more leverage and more say in the political arena, especially on the new planet when they can implement policies. Sit down, right? Now, furthermore, these nations who were once militarily strong before on Earth are now not as powerful anymore because they lack the resources that they once had on Earth, right? So they cannot just ignore everyone and conquer and go gung-ho on everyone, right? Because furthermore, this journey to the new planet will further exhaust the resources that they once had, and furthermore, the journey to this new planet requires solidarity between nations, right? And this is especially important because now they are less likely to break out of that solidarity and just attack others to gain control of the resources that these other nations have, right, in terms of land and money. So what do we propose to Asia? We propose to two things. We propose to how this policy will now uphold the sustainability of the new planet because the resources, because of the better policies that these nations are going through to begin with. Secondly, how we are also rewarding those individuals who are contributing positively to the environment and not rewarding those who have contributed to our downfall. Here.